Because his 4 children didn't want to go home, this old man had an idea. He decided to travel across America to see his children, to see if they were happy. So each time he found a child, he asked them a simple question.
You happy?
What do you mean?
You happy?
Yeah, of course I am.
To hear that his daughter was happy, the old man's wrinkles hid an unspeakable joy. So when confronted by his eldest son, he hoped to reap the same answer.
And you happy? Happy? Yeah. I get paid to bang a big loud drum all day. Of course I'm happy.
But this time he saw in his son's eyes a clue, for both children hesitated briefly when answering. It made him feel like they were both lying. They clearly weren't having a good time. He couldn't help but wonder why his children chose to lie to him. To find out why the children were unhappy, Frank made a date with his 4 children, that they'd be together on Thanksgiving. But on Thanksgiving Eve, Frank's enthusiasm was dashed by a phone call. The oldest daughter's voice was on the other end of the line, and she said, with a little bit of regret and apology, she's got a lot on her plate at work, and she couldn't make it to the party tomorrow. Frank's heart was filled with regret, but he still had a glimmer of hope. After all, there were 3 other children. But as soon as he opened the phone message, he received a message from one of the other children.
Dad, hi, I can't stop right now. I'm back on stage in a few minutes. The producers are flying in from Paris and want to see the original cast, so I just can't get away this weekend. I'm trying, I promise. I love you. I'm thinking of you. Big kiss.
Message after message. The kids couldn't come home because they were working. As a father, Frank was devastated. But what could he say? Should he blame them? He mixed that loss with understanding, and he muttered to himself. Since his wife died 8 months ago, the children hadn't been home since the funeral. When his wife was alive, she was a bridge between the kids and Frank. The kids would tell his wife anything. Now it's a very different story. The kids basically never called him. The alienation had crept into his heart, and he simply wanted to know if the kids were happy. If the kids were happy, he stood in front of the mirror, and the sense of loss deepened. So he pondered for a moment. He made a bold decision, wanted to travel across the United States by himself, to visit each of his 4 dearest children, and to surprise his children. He chose not to inform anyone, so he wrote 4 letters to his children. Then he packed his bags, looking around the home where he had lived for 70 years, with the gaze of his wife in the photo. But he wasn't sure how long he could go, because Frank was a laborer before he retired. The long hours of labor gave him an occupational disease. The doctor heard of his desire to travel long distances, patiently advised him to stay at home, and to emphasize that he should not fly. Long-distance travel could endanger his life at any time, but he didn't listen to the doctor's advice. The thought of his children took precedence over that, but Frank avoided air travel as much as possible. Instead, he'd take the smoother train. He'd talk to the conductor, intentionally or not.
Going to see my son.
Very good.
Know what he does?
Absolutely no idea.
He's an artist.
Gate 7, thank you. Next.